Hello, my name is Victoria. Thank you for watching. And I will be discussing the topic college sports, amateurism versus a billion-dollar industry. Now, the first question that will be addressed is, do you think that college sports is and should retain its amateur status? An amateur athlete is one who does not get paid for playing his or her sport. According to Berry in 2014, it was ruled that NCAA amateurism rules violate federal antitrust laws, and players were entitled to $5,000 per year for name, image, and likeness rights. However, in 2015, $5,000 was reduced to a simple cost of attendance payment, which is already provided by many universities. Many universities make a lot of money from its most popular sports, such as football and basketball, and from using their athletes' names, images, and likeness for marketing purposes. From personal experience, I befriended a handful of athletes who did believe they should be paid for playing and or being a part of their football team. A few of those athletes were also not on scholarship. If one were to think about being on a team as a full-time job, going to practices, meetings, and games, which normally add up to approximately 40 hours a week, being paid may be seen as a more feasible option for college athletes. But paying college athletes must be viewed from multiple angles. Should athletes on teams that don't bring in revenue still be paid? If athletes are paid, should scholarships still be awarded? Personally, I believe that if a university is making money off of an athlete's image, name, and likeness, they should be paid. But if they're not making money off of an athlete, then they shouldn't. It's easier to track how much money an athlete's image, name, and likeness is bringing in from sales. Yes, some teams bring in millions of dollars from playing games, but there is no easy way to calculate who should get how much. Because determining how athletes should be paid is so complicated, overall, I believe that college sports should retain their amateur status. Second question that is going to be addressed is, do you think athletes should be compensated as employees of either the institution or the NCAA? According to Berry, in every other business in American society, workers must be paid at least a minimum wage from the revenue generated by the firm. Colleges and universities, though, have gotten around this practice by relabeling the workers' titles. Rather than call the athletes competing on the field workers, colleges and universities use the term student athlete. In addition, schools also argue that student athletes are amateurs and therefore are not entitled to be paid. As mentioned earlier, student athletes can put in approximately 40 hours a week. This much time spent with their teams and then having schoolwork to complete and classes to study for does not leave much time, if any, for a job for those athletes who are not on scholarship. Yes, these individuals voluntarily choose to be a part of their teams, but I'm sure many of them would appreciate getting paid at least minimum wage for the time spent representing their institutions. However, there are other organizations within the institutions that are not sport related and also bring revenue and recognition to the institutions that require just as much time and effort and do not get paid as well. So, overall, no, I do not believe athletes should be compensated as employees by their institutions, but maybe by the NCAA, since that is a separate entity. The last question that's going to be addressed is, how or does this affect the morale of collegiate sports? Well, I believe paying college athletes and removing the amateur status would negatively impact the morale of collegiate sports in some ways, but boost it in others. It really depends on how the student body and faculty of each institution view the issue at hand. Some may see it as something that athletes deserve, and others may see it as unfair. Either way, one cannot come without the other. If it's an amateur sport, they can't get paid. But if they get paid, the amateur title gets removed. Let's see. So, I do believe that retaining fan loyalty and school pride is priority, though, because without that, there is no one to pull revenue from. So, if there's nobody to fill the stands, if there's no one to buy season tickets, there's no one to watch the games on TV, keep up with people online, if they lose that fan base, there's no money to be generated. So, ultimately, it's about pleasing fans and making sure that their experience is up to par and they're getting what they're paying for and what they want. So, yeah. Thank you so much for watching, guys. Bye.